2. We are live.
Good afternoon and good morning, Omni Coalition viewers. Hello and welcome to This Date in History, or TDH for short. This show is all about what happened to date through the annals of recorded history. Join us as we delve into yesteryear, not only for interesting and important happenings, but to possibly even answer questions you don't know you have. The sources for this information come from the smart device application Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to the sources, music, and anything else potentially interesting, please check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I'm MTM, and today I'm joined by...
I'm Eosander.
And today is August 8th. Starting off in the year 70, the Tower of Antonia was destroyed by the Romans.
Well, that's not nice.
No, certainly. Following up, over 1,000 years later, the Crete earthquake strikes with an estimated magnitude of 8, triggering a major tsunami that damaged the lighthouse of Alexandria and swept 2 ships miles inland in Egypt.
Swept ships 2 miles inland.
Ah.
Yeah, so like 2 miles inland. Like, that is 2 Star Destroyers. Like, away from the ocean. That's insane. Wow.
And then in 1508, Spaniard Juan Ponce de Leon founds Capara, the first European settlement in Puerto Rico.
All right. That's cool. We also have 1 year later, in 1509, Emperor Krishnadeva Raya was crowned, marking the beginning of the regeneration of the Vijayanagara Empire in southern India. Dang. So, an old empire came back. That's pretty wild. You don't really hear about that too often.
No.
And we also have 1576, the cornerstone was laid for Tycho Brahe's observatory in Uraniborg, Denmark. This will become the world's then most advanced research institution. Wow. And then we have in 1585, John Davis entered Cumberland Sound in search of the Northwest Passage. Ah. Yeah, and we will be speaking about that search several hundred years later, actually, today.
Well, don't spoil the show for everyone, right?
Well, no, that just goes to show how long it took to really find if it existed at all in the Northwest Passage. Hundreds of years. Anyway.
Really amazing how that works. Yeah, sometimes. 1585, Pope Sixtus excommunicates Henry of Navarre, Henry the Fourth.
Huh. I wonder what he did.
The city of Finland is founded by Charles IX of Sweden.
All right. Oulu.
Oulu.
That sounds like something from Hawaii.
Yeah, it does sound like a Hawaiian. I almost read it as a Hawaiian state there. Venetian Senate examines Galileo Galilei's telescope in 1609.
Oh, dang.
So, progress, yeah.
Yep.
Big progress there.
Then we're going to jump ahead quite a bit to 1673. The Dutch battle fleet of 23 ships demanded surrender of New York City. And yeah, because New York, or back before it was called that, New Amsterdam, was a Dutch settlement. And I believe they sold it to the British. And then he demanded it back, and it became New Amsterdam again. And then the British, conquered it, and then it's been New York ever since. There's a storied history behind it. It's really interesting.
Wow.
Then we have 1703, Vienna-based newspaper Wienerisches Diarium, later called Wiener Zeitung, printed its first edition, and then later published daily for almost 320 years. 320 years daily. Okay, so let's see. 320 times 365 equals 116,800 issues, according to basic math, without exact, like when they stopped. So
Yeah. Wow.
yeah,
those are pretty good numbers for wieners.
1709, the first known ascent in hot air balloon by Bartholomew de Gusmão indoors. Okay, must have been a huge auditorium or something.
Maybe he was testing it. He was afraid of how far he would get away, so he was like testing it out.
Huh. Well, that's cool.
Moving on up here to 1786, in which Jacques Balmont and Michael Picard are the first to climb the top of Mount Blanc, the highest mountain in Western Europe.
Wow. How tall is Mount Blanc, actually? Let me look. Mount Blanc height. 15,777 feet, so 3 miles, or 2.5 at least, 2 3/4, somewhere in there.
Where are we at now? 1786. U.S. Congress unanimously chooses the dollar as the monetary unit for the United States of America.
Woo! Money, money! Dollar, dollar! If I had any money, I'd actually be doing that. I'm just doing
That's
that.
what dollars used to look like? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and they were big, too. They were like, they were like this big. Have you ever seen the movie A Million Ways to Die in the West?
No, only clips of it.
Well, there's this one scene where, what's his face? The Doogie Howser guy. What was,
Seth MacFarlane's character?
No, the other guy. Like, he was the oldest brother in Malcolm in the Middle. Like, he's been a lot of things. Like, he's a famous actor.
Oh, right. Yeah, Francis.
Whatever his name is, his character pulls out a dollar bill, and everybody like is in shock, and then they all took their hats off in respect, and then like this little kid still had his hat on, and the dad just grabbed his head, "Take your hat off, boy! That's a dollar bill."
That's really funny.
It's hilarious, but yeah, now the economy is the way it is. And, anyway, what else do we got here? 1794.
You want to skip ahead to 1794 there? All right.
Well, if you want to read something else, go for it. Like, I'm just going by my script.
I don't see anything interesting of what you've scrolled past there. 1794. Joseph Whidbey and George Vancouver lead an expedition to search for the Northwest Passage near Juneau, Alaska. Maybe that's pronounced.
See, as I said before, a couple hundred years later, like, now they're coming in from the other side. Like, and there really isn't a Northwest Passage, is there? It just really mainly, like, leads to the Great Lakes. Like, I think. Like, actually, let me look. Northwest Passage. There is a Northwest Passage. Okay, so it goes up and over the entire... Okay, why is it asking me for a donation? Like, right off the bat. Okay. This is almost like Encyclopedia Britannica. Anyway, yeah, the Northwest Passage like almost completely goes over the entirety of Canada and Alaska. Like, so like the passage that they were trying to find was like kind of like where the border of U.S. and Canada is in that general area, which there is, like, now especially with man-made canals and whatnot, you can go from the northern Atlantic into the Great Lakes and then go down the Mississippi and then be in the Gulf of Mexico, and that effectively has created like that entire eastern section, like the entire 1/3 of the continental U.S. eastern into quote-unquote an island because it's surrounded completely entirely by water. Yeah, because of the river and all that stuff. Now, the only way to actually really get from one side to the other is inevitably you will have to cross a bridge. So, but yeah, I'm gonna add this in the underbar of the description. It's still your turn, right? I'm sorry if I'm getting off.
No, that was my third. The
okay.
Mountain Climbers, the Dollar, and the Northwest Passage.
All right, well then we have 1796, Boston African Society established with 44 members. The Boston African Society, what? What is that? Laws of the African Society Institute at Boston, Massachusetts Historical Society. What is all this? Huh. Okay. Well,
Not a lot of people know this, but the original Boston Tea Party was Africans.
oh my God. Did you just do, like, I know
It's from an
blackface.
Eric Andre sketch where he's making fun of black Hebrew Israelites
Oh my
and
God.
they're black Hebrew Scientologists.
What else do we got here? 1843. Oh yeah. By the way, for links to like this wiki and what I just popped up right here about the African Society, please refer to the underbar of the description below after the live stream, of course, in which the links to what you just saw will be in there. But anyway, we're gonna move on up to 1843. Natal in South Africa was made a British colony. Cool. And then 1854, Smith & Wesson patented metal bullet cartridges. Wow. Right before the Civil War. Which is an ironic name because there's nothing civil about it. That's been said 1,001 times. But anyway, I believe it's back to you. You get to talk about Hawaii.
The Queen of Sandwich Islands, probably made with spam and yams, of Hawaii, arrives in NYC.
Dude, I want a spam yam sandwich. That sounds great.
I'd want some sauce in mine. Sounds a little dry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be good.
Well, like spam and yam. Like, you're talking about sweet potatoes, not straight up just the yams, right?
Yeah, good Hawaiian purple potatoes.
Yeah. Like, that would work, or what sauce would work with both of those? You know?
I'm a big sriracha guy. Sriracha pretty much works with everything.
I'm not sure. But anyway, what else do we have?
American Civil War, Tennessee's military governor, Andrew Johnson, frees his personal slaves, celebrated as a holiday by Tennessee African Americans in the early 20th century.
Hooray!
And then in 1870 here, oh, that's a bit interesting. In 1868, an earthquake actually destroyed the city of Aricia in Chile.
Dang.
And then in 1870, First America's Cup, the New York Yacht Club's first defense of America's Cup, Magic, NYYC, defeats Cambria. Royal Thames YC England finishes 8th, and 16 fellow defenders from NUI Harbor to Sandy Hook light vessel on the Atlantic return to 38 miles.
And YC, I think, stands for Yacht Club. So the New York Yacht Club and the Royal Thames Yacht
that makes
Club.
sense.
Sandy Hook. Ooh, that's a strange name right there. Like, that kind of gave me a little bit of chills.
Yeah.
Yeah. And take the next 7. Take the 70. Like.
I just read that.
Oh yeah, you did.
The Republic of Ostia, is that what you're talking about there?
No. I had a brain fart.
Okay.
Gonna move on up to 1876. Thomas Edison was granted the patent for autographic printing. U.S. patent 180,857. Yeah, I wonder who he stole that from. That guy's a piece of work. And then 1882, snow fell on Lake Michigan in August. What?
It's pretty early for snowfall, yeah. Indeed.
Yeah. Let me remind everybody, it's August. So like snow. Like I get it, they're up north, but that's ridiculous. Must have been a freak weather snap or something. And then 1900, we have the first international lawn tennis challenge, precursor of the Davis Cup, began at Longwood Cricket Cup in Massachusetts, won by 3-0 by U.S. over British Isles. USA. Just had to. Oh hey, King's Refuge. Welcome to the show. I just saw that. You're here. KR is watching, man. Say hi to him.
KR, nice to see you.
Yeah.
In chat.
Yeah. What else do we got here? 1910, the U.S. Army installed the first tricycle landing gear on the Army's Wright Flyer. Huh. Tricycle landing gear. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I already know what that looks like, but let's look that up here real quick. Images. Tricycle landing gear. Oh, I get it. Okay. So like that.
Yeah, 3 wheels.
Yeah. I thought it was just straight up like, you know how some, the bigger jets have like, the two wheels. I was thinking it's like two wheels and then like a wheel on the front or something, like some kind of, because it's still in development. They haven't perfected, so they're trying, something that inevitably was, as we today would know, would not be functional, but they didn't know back then. So anyway, let's get back to you with 1911.
1911, public law 62-5 sets the number of representatives in the United States House of Representatives at 435. The law would come into effect in 1913.
All right.
Organization. Yeah, bureaucracy. 1911, the same year, a little bit later, the millionth patent is filed in the United States Patent Office by Francis Holton for a tubeless vehicle tire.
Ooh.
Huh.
I know they're expensive to make, so I know why they're not massively publicly used. But tubeless tire. There's some really cool tubeless tires here. I was thinking, well, how about the mesh one? Hold on a second. Mesh. There's one. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking about.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's no air used, and eventually it does wear out, but normal tires wear out too. And why are we not funding this? This is cool. Plus, yeah, you can color them. We can bring the white walls back. We don't even need rims. Everything else is coming back. Bell bottoms and afros and disco should stay dead. All right, but white wall tires, that is class. So
everyone was pretty high then, anyway. 1914, Montenegro declares war on Germany.
Ah. And hey, we get to talk about the A's again.
You want to take that one? That was my third.
1960, the A's set an AL record with the 19 consecutive loss on the road. That's
sell the team. Sell the team.
They set a record. All right, for being losers. Not all right. They had me in the first half. And then 2 more years later, 1918, during the First World War, the Allies launched the 100 Days Offensive, beginning with the Battle of Amiens, where 500 tanks and 10 Allied divisions attacked German lines. Holy crap. I didn't even realize they had that many tanks back then. That's kind of unbelievable for World War II, but World War I with those, those Mark 1s and 2s and whatnot, and that must have been a sight to behold. Holy crap.
Yeah, they're cranking them out.
Yeah. Then 1919, the Treaty of Rawalpindi, British recognized Afghanistan's independence. Yeah. Well, Afghanistan, has been around for a little bit. Pakistan is the one I was thinking of that was formed in the 70s, really, but it actually apparently gained sentience alongside India. But it was part of India at one point.
And it was also the same time that Bangladesh was instituted. So Pakistan and Bangladesh kind of came around at the same time.
Yeah.
Split off India.
Speaking of Pakistan and Bangladesh and whatnot, 1920, the Tigers defeated the Yanks 1-0 in shortest AL game, 73 minutes. Wow. So that must have been a massively popular game because it's just so short.
A fast game, yeah. An hour and 13 minutes. That's wild.
Yeah. In 1925, we have the first national march of the KKK. Between 25,000 and 40,000 marchers in Washington, D.C. Yikes. People got to realize that, things were a lot worse, back in the day, and they actually had reasons to, not the KKK, of course. I'm talking about, blacks and Native Americans and Asians and all that stuff, and, women, things were rough back in the day. I'm not going to dispute that, but with with how what we have access to today and everything versus the rest of the world, I don't know why we're fighting so hard to purify our nation. Where we were one of the best in the world, we were, but yeah, we got bored. What were you gonna say, MTM?
Oh, I just think that it's a freedom of speech case, right? Like you have to let people like this have express their freedom of speech so you can open up dialogue with them.
Yeah,
Right.
that's all perfectly well and good if they're willing to, like, have a dialogue, and if both parties are able to have their minds changed, because at some point something's got to give. And
Yeah.
so, but anyway, let's move on up to 1929. I think it's your turn.
That was yes. Okay. German airship Graf Zeppelin begins a round-the-world flight. Wow.
Yeah, and I don't know why they keep using the Hindenburg for every article.
Every Zeppelin picture, yeah.
Every Zeppelin and airship and everything, article that has a picture, is always the same picture. Like they have, they made their own stock photos, so to speak, and generalized photos. But to have the Hindenburg disaster be the visual representation of everything that you cover about Zeppelins is really unfair.
Should put a picture of Led Zeppelin up there one of these days.
Dude, we should buy out this site if we can.
Yeah.
Down the line, just do
When we
that.
get enough
That'd be
sponsorships,
hilarious.
we'll buy it out. And we'll put ads all over it too.
But yeah, I would have loved to go around the world in a Zeppelin, dude. It's basically it's not super fast like a jet, You're basically
Right, you get time to enjoy the vista, yeah.
Yeah. It gets a little boring after a while out in the sea, but they're basically cruise ships in the sky.
Right.
So,
right.
What else do we got here?
Salem, Oregon Airport was dedicated. Wow.
Huh.
Anything else you see interesting there?
1936, this one.
The Corbett National Park and Tiger Reserve is founded in Uttarakhand, British India, as Haley National Park, later renamed India's first national park. Wow, so they were the first Tiger Kings.
Cool. Yeah. Then 2 years later, we have the Great Trek Centenary celebrations commence. The Great Trek was a migration involving Boers leaving the Cape Colony and settling in the interior of South Africa. 365 days later, in 1939, we have the 7th Venice Film Festival open with a United States boycott due to Benito Mussolini's fascist Italian regime. So everything everybody is saying in today's world about keep politics out of this, keep politics out of that, yada, 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 they really don't realize that politics have always been in all of this. They go hand in hand. So, that's really an invalid excuse. You're only saying that because it's other people's politics that are now coming in and forcing their mandate. It's stuff that you don't agree with. That's why you're noticing it.
One of these days, I want to make a Benito Mussolini biopic and get Tamora Morrison to play Benito Mussolini, and then host it at an Italian film festival. See if he would do it. He probably has some big Disney contract right now.
You want to know something very mind-blowing?
What?
I'm not sure if you already know this, because I've talked about this off and on camera a lot. But Benito Mussolini's granddaughter, who still has his last name, Mussolini, is currently right now, as we're talking, in the Italian political cabinet.
Wow.
Doing something in Italian politics. Yes, the granddaughter of Benito Mussolini is in Italian politics. What the hell? Oh my goodness. Anyway, 1940, the Battle of England, or Britain, whatever.
Oh, that's your turn. That was my third.
1940, and I believe this counts for the whole day here. 31 German aircraft shot down over England. Yeah, during the Blitz and all that stuff. And because I've seen a lot of different articles saying X amount of aircraft shot down over England, or German aircraft shot down. And I at first I thought that was a tally tracker or something, just up until then. But I think that's a daily occurrence. So on this date in 1940, entirely 31 German aircraft were shot down. That makes sense, because they really hammered them. And then when they couldn't do it with planes, they started doing it with rockets and missiles, like the V1s, V2s. And Hitler had like a lot of people don't know this. He had like these massive cannons like that were built down into the earth along the shoreline of France. That were like just the biggest guns on Earth, like literally, like they're bigger than the railroad guns and all that stuff. They had to be built into the earth just to stabilize them, and with the intention of lobbing shells, kind of like how the Paris gun was used, but more like to shell Britain, like 500 miles away or something crazy. The Paris gun shelled Paris from like 40 miles away, I believe. But anyway, let's get back on track here. 1942, Monty was appointed commander of British 8th Army at El Alamein. Yep, Montgomery. Oh. And while that was happening, 6 convicted Nazi saboteurs who landed in the U.S. were executed in Washington, D.C. I think those are the same ones. I believe we spoke about it earlier, actually. Those saboteurs who came over here specifically to throw sand into like the devices that are underneath Grand Central Station in New York, because that was like the power supplier of the entire Eastern Seaboard Railway network. And if they sabotaged that, that pretty much took us out of the war until we could get it back up and running.
They were doing pocket sand attacks before Dale Gribble was.
Dude, just like, could you imagine, like in World War II, the juggernaut that is the U.S. that's, beating the Nazis back, there's a handful of sand brings us down. That is nuts. Like,
it's definitely a wrench in our plans.
Yeah, a wrench made of sand.
A wrench made of sand.
Like,
go ahead.
Well, that makes you wonder. Like, we should have brought Anakin in because he hates sand. So.
Yeah, he hates it. He would really
It's coarse. It gets everywhere.
Gone after it. Where are we here? My turn.
1945.
President Harry Truman signs the United Nations Charter.
All right.
We'll get the Allied powers together. The U.S., USSR, and France sign the Treaty of London, which sets down procedures for the Nuremberg war trials of Nazi leaders. 1945 as well.
All right. Why don't you take the rest of the 45s? There's 2 more.
Sure. The USSR declared war against Japan in World War II in 1945, and then established a communist government in North Korea.
Huh. Yeah, but this is Kim Il-sung started in what, 54? No. Yeah, no. Korean War was already going on. So yeah, no, this is when Kim Il-sung was appointed. This is when it starts, the Kim family. Dang. 1946, another family, the Dreyfus family, owners of the Pittsburgh Pirates since 1900, sold the club to Frank McKinley and John Galbraith for $25 million. That's a good investment for 46 years.
Oh yeah, the Pirates are like one of the most popular teams of all time.
1946 as well, we have the first flight of the Convair B-36, the Convair B-36. Let's see what this bird looks like. Oh, okay, this guy. Oh, the rear propeller-driven one. Huh. Look at that thing. Have you seen this before?
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah, the propellers are behind it.
That's wild.
Yeah, so instead of pulling, it's pushing. Huh. Oh my god.
That's a lot of buttons.
That's a lot of dials. Oh god. And then 1946 as well, India agreed to give Bhutan 32 square miles. Alright. Back to you.
Okay. Pakistan's national flag is approved.
Huh.
In 47.
Right. Let's see Pakistan's national flag. Okay, that one. All right. Cool.
Bhutan, land of dragon, becomes an independent monarchy.
All right. I wonder if that's the same Bhutan from 3 years prior who got 32 square miles from India.
Must be, yeah.
I think so.
I'm going to take 1953.
Go for it.
Soviet hydrogen bomb. The Soviet leader Georgy Malenkov reports possession of a hydrogen bomb. 1953.
Here we go. That didn't take them long either. Like, because I know Klaus Fuchs or Carl Fuchs, whatever his name was, I think Carl, he straight up like gave the Russians the bomb in 1949. So then 4 years later, they got the hydrogen bombs. Like, dang. Let's see here. What else do we have? 1953 as well. The U.S. and South Korea initial a mutual security pact. I think initiates.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're signing off on it, and that's when they start just watching each other.
Yeah. Well, like the Korean War. When was the Korean War? I thought it was started in 50. Korean War. Yeah, 50 to 50. Okay. Wow, that was a short war. Oops, wait. I clicked something wrong. So July. So yeah, it's been over for about a month or so now. So yeah, so that makes sense what you said. What else do we have? 55. Fidel Castro formed the 26th of July movement, a Cuban vanguard revolutionary organization. Here we go. And I'm going to just round up this 55 as well. Geneva Conference was held to discuss peaceful uses of atomic energy. All right. Back to you.
Peaceful uses. Okay, 1960. The itsy bitsy teeny weeny yellow polka dot bikini song hits #1. I suppose it's a U.S. charts.
You know what? I got.
You don't remember this song?
I've never heard that. I've never heard of it. Like I gotta listen to it after the show, of course.
Sure. Yes. It's probably copyrighted for sure.
Yeah.
The South Kasai secedes from the Congo a little bit later in 1960.
Alright.
And then in 1963, the Great Train Robbery in England, where 2.6 million, around $7.3 million, adjusting for inflation, was stolen, I assume.
Well, would that be adjusted for inflation, or is that the value based off of those? Because like the British.
Oh
pound,
yeah, good question.
Yeah, and that's a whole rabbit hole. So if anybody watching wants to go down that and do the math and figure all that out, please let us know how much that would be in today's dollars. Is it 7.3 million in today's dollars, or is that compared to the exchange rate from pounds to dollars back in 1963? I don't know the value of the British pound back then. So why don't you take the next 63 to round that up?
Sure. Kingsmen release Louie Louie, and radio stations label it as obscene.
Huh.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Went on to become the soundtrack of Animal House.
Yeah.
Louie, Louie.
We gotta go now.
Yeah. We also have 1964, the first Rolling Stones concert in the Netherlands at the Cure House of Scheveningen in The Hague. This entire sentence is just self-mocking. Like,
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to be racist against like Netherland people, like hinger dinger jinger, at the friggin' fjord, like
Right. That Muppet is actually Swedish. So.
I'm sorry if I'm offending any Northern Europeans with that, but I'm an equal opportunity offender. I don't care about anybody. 2 years later, 1966, South African broadcasting banned Beatles due to John Lennon's "more popular than Jesus" remark. Yeah, they were getting a lot of flack from that, and as they should. So. Then, 1967, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand met to form the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, aka ASEAN. Okay.
1969, the Beatles are photographed by Ian McMillan crossing the street as they walk away from EMI Recording Studios for the cover of their Abbey Road album. It's their final album, actually, yeah. Because they made Magical Mystery Tour, and by that time they were all like tired of not like they were a little tired of being around each other. They all kind of wanted to do their own thing. You know, George wanted to get into gardening and playing sitar, and you know, John was really big into activism, and so they wanted to do their own thing. But their last album was called Magical Mystery Tour, and they really disliked that album. So they said, let's make Abbey Road, and that's where like a lot of their good famous songs are that they really worked hard on and got famous for.
Oh, dang, man.
Moving on up here to 1973. Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, well, France performs their first nuclear test at Mururoa Atoll.
I'm not sure if that's their first. They did several. This just says a nuclear test.
Performs a nuclear test? Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, U.S. Vice President in 1973, Spiro Agnew says reports, that's bad wording. He took kickbacks are damned lie. Oh, he says the reports that he took kickbacks are damned lies from government contracts in Maryland and vowed not to resign.
Huh. Well, 1 year after that, go for it. Like, that's
Yeah, Richard Nixon announces he will resign at 12 p.m. the next day.
So 1 year after all that. And then Spiro Agnew, like, you know, after the whole Watergate thing, just got totally wrecked, as he should have. Like, what else do we got here? 1975, as a result of rainfall from Typhoon Nina, the Bangkeo Dam in China failed, causing the collapse of almost 6 million buildings and 229,000 deaths. Holy hell. Like,
that is a lot of water. A lot of watery graves. Sad.
For, like, China, that area in China temporarily became an ocean, and people were not ready for it. And 4 years later, in 1979, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein executed 22 political opponents. And I wonder how far away we're at from there. You know, we're already, like, detaining political dissidents, you know, without trial, you know, not enacting habeas corpus, which is unconstitutional. So, in 1983, jury in KCMO, Kansas City, Missouri, I think, awarded TV anchorwoman Christine Kraft $500,000 in sex discrimination suit against KMBC TV. This was later overturned. And that makes me wonder, like, why was it overturned? Did she lie? Was it all fabricated? Was this, like, an early form of the whole Me Too malarkey? Like, I don't know. Anyway, you know, that's a thing to ponder. So if anybody wants to look into that and tell us in the comment section, please do. That is something I want to know more about. In 1984, Nawal El Motawakal of Morocco became the first female Olympic champion of a Muslim nation and the first of her country in the 400-meter hurdles at the Los Angeles Olympics. Hell yeah! That is awesome. I'm trying to find her. Where is she? 1984. There's a lot of 1984s. Here she is, right there. Alright. Cool. Let's get back to you, 85.
Japan launches Planet A probe to Halley's Comet.
Well, dang. Japan's so advanced, in 85 they're launching entire worlds out into space.
Yeah.
How are they doing that? Planet A? Like, what?
Sometimes they just they get really crazy about the way English words sound, actually, because even though Japanese kids are actually taught English in school, like at the same time they're learning Japanese. I don't know how good the education is to like a practical aspect of it, to like a cultural aspect of it, because a lot of times they'll just like jump on words that they like a lot and not use them correctly. So maybe they mean like Plan A, and that's where you see all these memes of like funny English phrases in Japan come from. They print all their billboards and T-shirts in English, actually, because it's easier to advertise that way, apparently, or a lot of them, at least.
Well, it's a good thing that they didn't scrub that launch or abort it, because then they'd have to use Plan B. That was a very bad joke. Very bad. I'm gonna get
very bad. Altaf Hussein's address at Nishar Park, Karachi, announcing the establishment of the MQM political movement.
Huh.
A little bit after my namesake.
Well, you're MTM. This is MQM,
yeah.
But like
MQM.
What is MQM political movement? The Mujahida Qawami movement in Pakistan is a social liberal Mujahir nationalist secular political party. The leader of the party is DJ Khalid Makbul Siddiqui. The party's symbol is the kite. Huh. So, I just hope they never say in their scripture another one. What else do we have here?
1986, Texas paroles American rock singer David Crosby from state prison 5 months into his 5-year prison sentence for drug and weapons convictions. He credits the respite with helping him to break his cocaine addiction. Yeah.
All right, so every now and then the system does work. Not often, but sometimes, you know. As it's said, every dog gets its day.
Yeah, Tommy Chong actually talks about that because, you know, he got arrested for running a hemp shop. And when he was in jail, there were like narcs that were in the jail, like cops in the jail and like snitches in the jail.
Wow.
That kept trying to get him to buy and sell weed. And he was like, no, man, I don't need it. I'm just going to sober up while I'm in jail, man. And he did. And he was like, yeah, it's like I learned a big discipline there.
Dude, that's awful. Like, you know, when it comes to the police orchestrating things to set people up, like, what are you doing? There's enough crime out there. Why are you making more crime?
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're trying to meet their ticket quota, right? And they're trying to get paid, and it's easier to find someone who's like already a criminal and, you know, further escalate their problems than to like find a new criminal, right?
Who the hell do they think they are, Captain Sobel?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Like, what infractions? Find some. Like, what the hell? Anyway, what else do we got here? 1987, Brewers Rob Deere struck out 5 times in a game. Yikes. That's, man, not even I was that bad. That's terrible. 1988, ceasefire between Iran and Iraq took effect after 8 years of war. About time. While that was happening, Cubs and Phillies attempted to play first night game ever at Wrigley Field, but are rained out in a 4th inning with Chicago leading 3-1. That's unfortunate. I'm just going to take the rest of 88s here. Wow, actually, I'm not. I'm just going to take one more. 1988, discovery of the most distant galaxy, 15 times 10 to the 12th power light years announced. That is a number I can't even fathom. Like, well, 15 times 10 to the 12th power light years? Like, what? Hold on. I'm gonna put that in Google and see what happens.
150 to the 12th power?
150? Okay, no, 1.5. But why is it giving me a 0.5? There's not a decimal point in there. How many years is 1 light year? A year in light speed. It's a stupid question. Actually, no, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people.
Light year measures distance, not time.
Well, time and space. So it measures both. I think. I don't know. Hold on a second. Most distant galaxy. Just for hee-haws. What is the farthest away galaxy? GN-Z11 is a high redshift galaxy found in the constellation Ursa Major. It is among the farthest known galaxies from Earth ever discovered. And yeah, they say redshift because of the light. So that dictates that it is a early galaxy. So like by the time that light gets to us, it's been like billions of light years, trillions, googolplex. I don't know. But what else do we have? We got to move on up here. 1988. Oh yeah, it's your turn. There's a
Rap group NWA released their debut studio album, Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton. No, I can't do that.
And then Ice Cube went on to have a really serious face in many movies. It looks really angry all the time.
My favorite one, he was on Conan or something, and he was having him read,
Yeah,
like, lavender body wash make my pores tingle. What the hell?
1988. Where are we going here? The renovated Central Park Zoo reopens after 4 years.
All right, that took a while.
They have to make sure all the animal cages are safe distance, right? So that like the animals can't jump over, and everything also looks nice too.
Yeah, we can't have it be like Zoo Tycoon.
Right. 1988, Russian troops begin to pull out of Afghanistan after a 9-year war.
Wow.
This is pretty funny.
Yeah.
The temperature hits a high of 88 degrees Fahrenheit on 8/8/88 in New York City.
Wow.
Wow.
Like, and actually, I wonder if that was 8:08 in the morning, or like, actually that'd be pretty high for the morning, or at 8 o'clock at night. But still, like, you want to talk about like a palindromic thing, like not just the date, not just the time, but the temperature. Wow. Why don't you take this last 88?
The last 88 here is U.S. Secretary of State George P. Shultz narrowly escapes an assassination attempt in Bolivia.
Wow. Yeah, you gotta be careful everywhere you go. Alright. 1990, Iraq annexed Kuwait as its 19th province. Yeah, and that's, I think Operation Desert Storm, when does Desert Storm start? When did Desert Storm start? August 2nd. But that was Desert Shield. Or was it Desert Storm? The second was 6
Might have been
days
happening
ago.
at the same time.
Desert Shield. August 2nd. Okay. So... Okay, here we go. Desert Storm. Wait. Okay. Okay, so the war consisted of 2 phases. The first was codenamed Operation Desert Shield from August 2nd, 1990 through January 17th of 1991 for operations leading to the buildup of troops in defense of Saudi Arabia. And the second was Operation Desert Storm, which started when Desert Shield was done on January 17th, 1991 through February 28th, 1991. Wow. Was the combat phase. Okay. So... Alright, so, yeah. Yeah, so it would be a while before we actually went in there. We also have a 1991 Billy Preston charged with exhibiting pornography to a minor. Yikes. Yikes.
Big yikes indeed.
Yeah, where's that one? 1991 here? Where did it go? Okay, there's that.
They might have taken it off. I didn't see it there.
1991.
Gary Oldman gets arrested for drunk driving. You passed it already.
Preston.
Because the Carlos Santana thing. Yeah.
Huh, they took it out. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
yeah,
Carlos Santana pleads no contest to a marijuana possession charge.
Well,
I find this hilarious because now the man has his own cannabis brand, as a matter of fact.
Is it?
Yeah.
Which one is it that created the Sleepy Joe strain?
I couldn't tell you.
Hold on a second.
His brands are all his everything he does is like named after
Snoop Dogg.
Sleepy
of course,
Joe
Snoop Dogg.
OG by Snoop. Wow, based Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, you won't even remember what country you're in. Where am I? Snoop Dogg. Oh man,
Make sure you don't be hitting this strain when you got anything to dizzle today, because you're not gonna doozle and remember anything you did. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, what else do we have here? Ooh, 1991. By the way, before we continue, like with they changed the Carlos Santana thing. It says on the script what you just read. You know, he pled no, but it says over here, rock guitar hero Carlos Santana pleads no contest to marijuana possession charge in Houston, Texas. So they changed it. So we have proof that they have gone through and they did some editing. So they obviously did take this out. Because, yeah, that's weird. I don't know why they would do that. Unless they're trying to cover up.
Oh, yeah, they moved the places of the Billy Preston thing and the Santana thing.
Where?
The Billy Preston thing is right. You have it on the script before Santana, but if you scroll down, right there.
Oh, they changed that too. That's why I couldn't find it. Singer keyboardist Billy Preston charged with. Okay, so they changed that too. Okay, that's weird. So they didn't take it out; they just changed it.
Right.
Wow.
Well, let's move up here because we're coming up on the hour here.
Yeah.
The Warsaw radio mast, at one time the tallest construction ever built, actually collapsed.
Yeah.
In 1991. Oh.
Warsaw radio mast. Like it was incomprehensibly tall. Like. Yeah, but like anybody who's interested, please go look it up yourself. We got to continue on. So, I'm just gonna rattle us off until we get to 2000, if that's cool.
Okay.
We have 1991 with 2 months left. The White Sox set new home attendance at 2,150,951. So I believe that has to be like for the season, I guess, or maybe lifetime. I don't know. 1992, Fermin Casho wins Spain's first ever Olympic gold medal in a running event when he took out the 1,500 meter at the Barcelona Games. Cool. And 1992 as well, Metallica singer and guitarist James Hetfield suffered second and third degree burns during a pyrotechnics explosion on stage at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal. Yikes. He looks like somebody straight out of like Orange County Choppers or whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, Orange County Choppers. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like the father guy.
Yeah. That's always yelling at the son about something.
Yeah, the meme like throws a chair at him. 1992 as well. The original U.S. Dream Team wins the basketball gold at the Barcelona Olympics 117-85 over Croatia. Features superstars Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing. That is one hell of a dream team, definitely. And then 1995, we have some more rap. We got Gangster's Paradise single released by Coolio, later to receive the Billboard Song of the Year in 1995. And there's good old Coolio with his braid hat.
Yeah. Confederate submarine CSSHL Hunley is raised to surface after 136 years on the ocean floor off the coast of South Carolina. Yeah, pretty amazing. They had pedal-operated submarines back in the day during the war.
HLL, the CSSHL Hunley. Yeah, here's a diagram of it. There's like, inside it's like the crankshaft, the piston like of an engine, but it's manually operated. So you're just sitting there doing that with a row of other people to provide propulsion. And isn't this the one that like it wasn't really successful? Like I think this is the one. It has like a thing at the front, a stick with the bomb, and it's supposed to like stick the bomb to the underside of the hull of a ship to blow it up and then cause it to sink. It blew up, but it didn't do enough damage. But because the explosions travel differently in water, it instantly killed all of the submariners and disabled the sub, and it just sank and never came back. That's the leading theory as to what happened to it. Anyway, what else do we got here?
Yeah, excuse me. 2004, John Elway is inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
All right, good old John Elway.
And then 2006, actor Sylvester Stallone and former heavyweight boxing contender Chuck Wepner settled a lawsuit out of court for an undisclosed sum. Wepner claims he was inspiration for the Rocky movies.
I remember that. whole fuss about that. Why don't you take both 2007s?
An EF2 class tier tornado touches down in Kings County and Richmond County, New York State, the most powerful tornado in New York to date, and the first in Brooklyn since 1889.
Wow. 1889. So that's 111, 118 years. Wow.
Carlos Slim, who I've never even heard of, I don't know what his industry is, overtakes Bill Gates as the world's richest person with estimated net worth of US $59 billion, according to Fortune.
Yep. And I got I've spoken about this guy a couple times before on this show. He is from Mexico, so you wouldn't expect it, but this guy, in Mexico, arguably not on the what is it, second or third world country list, somewhere in there. This guy
Right.
became the richest man in the world. So it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, where you're from. The world is what you make it. And I've complained and moaned and bitched about California holding me back, but just because something holding you back in one area doesn't mean it's doing so in another. As the saying goes, when life closes a door, a window opens or whatever. Sometimes you got to do a leap of faith and do what you can with what you have. And that's essentially what I'm doing with all this. A lot of other people have jobs and everything and all that stuff, and this is all I can really do out here in California. And we're making something of it. So if I can do something,
mining. Go ahead, sorry.
No, if I can do something, if a guy from Mexico can go on to become the richest, overpassing Bill Gates of all people, then what's your excuse? So anyway, what were you gonna say?
That was my 3 there.
Yeah, let's see. 2012. China announced that it plans to close 23 rare earth mines and up to 50 smelting companies. I don't think they did that. 2013. The Hindi film Chennai Express premiered, directed by Rohit Shetty, starring Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone. This became the fastest Bollywood film to earn $1 billion. Wow.
I have a couple Indian friends, and they talk about that film quite a bit, actually. I can't even remember the plot, though. I think it's something to do with love interest that's blocked by the caste system and social taboo in India. Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
2014, Hamas rejected continuation of ceasefire if Israel does not lift blockade. And once again, Israel being the aggressor. Just because they're not attacking doesn't mean they're not doing something. And I'm going to take us up to 2020 here. So 2014 as well. The West African Ebola outbreak is categorized as an international concern by the World Health Organization. Who? Who are they? I don't know. In 2017, the Walt Disney Company announced plans to create its own streaming service, canceling ties with Netflix. The birth of Disney Plus, which hemorrhages money constantly. And in the past year, what was it? They lost $1.2 billion in the past year alone, or something.
Oh no, it's more like 8 or 9 actually billion.
Well, you're talking about lifetime or year? Because
oh yeah, maybe it's 895,000.
What?
895 million actually. Sorry.
Okay, well that's quarterly. Because I know I saw a video and they said they lost like 700 something million in one half, and then 800 something odd million in another half. This past year alone. So 1.2 billion dollars just in the past year alone, they've lost just by Disney Plus by itself. So. Anyway, what else do we got? 2018, Academy of Motion Pictures revealed a new popular film category for the Oscars. All right. 2018, Australia's most populous state, New South Wales, declared 100% in droughts. And then, for the sake of time, we're going to just move on up here. Let's see here. 2018, K-pop, blah, 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 blah. Mr. MTM, do you want to take the 2017 Suma survives no confidence vote?
Sure. South African President Jacob Zuma. Whoop. I was reading it and you scrolled past.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jacob Zuma survives a no confidence vote in Parliament, 198 to 177.
Yeah, my bad for scrolling. I thought you were looking at the script. But
That's not on. I didn't see it on the script there.
yeah.
Simon Cowell's horror bike accident. British music mogul and television personality Simon Cowell breaks his back riding an electric exercise bike. Wow, in 2020.
What happened? Like, how do you injure yourself so badly stationarily?
Yeah.
Like, what
Honestly,
did you do?
you must be in the worst shape of your life to have such a bad performance on an electric stationary bike. It's totally dreadful.
He kind of deserves that. Ooh, I like this one.
2021 USA women's basketball team wins its record-extending 7th consecutive Olympic gold medal with 90-75 win over Japan in Tokyo. Guards Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi each win their 5th straight gold.
Nice. Then we got 2022. Beyonce's single "Break My Soul" was her first solo #1 on Billboard's Top 100 in 14 years. The same week, her Renaissance album reached #1 on Billboard's 200 chart. That's pretty cool. And why don't you take these last two, and then we can wrap us up.
FBI conducted a search for former U.S. President Donald Trump's Florida home, Mar-a-Lago, over his handling of classified government documents.
It's already been a year.
We all know how that went.
1 year and 4 indictments later. Oh my God.
Shake my head. Visibly shaking my head.
Yeah.
2022 record downpours in Seoul, South Korea, with some areas receiving their highest rainfall in 80 years, 141.5 millimeters per hour, leaves at least 8 dead.
God, yikes.
Yes, but that brings us to the end of 2022, and that concludes our show. Once again, check the underbar description for any links you may be interested in, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. For your daily dose of past events daily, we stream every day at 11 a.m. Pacific time. That's 1 p.m. Central and 2 p.m. Eastern.
Why do you keep skipping mountain time? Do you hate the mountains?
Mountain and Central time are the same thing, no?
No. The continental U.S. has 4 time zones: Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern.
Ah.
Yeah. Central is confusing because you think that's the center, so it has to be like, one on each side, but it's not. It's weird.
Mountain time is an hour ahead of Pacific time?
Yeah, so right now, it's 11 a.m. Pacific, 12, because you said 11 a.m. Pacific, then you say 1 Central. So, you're skipping, noon, which is Mountain.
12 p.m. Mountain, 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern time there. Anyways, for all of you and all of us, I'm MTM.
I'm Xander.
And make sure to look left and right at every intersection before you cross, and stay safe out there. Until next time, peace.
Toodles.